So as somebody who's terrified to have kids, especially right now because I just can't stand them, man, I wanted to check out what other people are saying about this.
Why aren't people having kids anymore? Because no one has a spare $300,000. It's the same reason I haven't bought a sapphire mine recently. It's just a tad too expensive. I don't want to spend money on a kid. I freeze
Buy gold. It's worth way more to invest in gold these days.
my bread to make it last longer. I'm cheap. Look, it's not even a joke. It's just a good tip. I don't even spend the fake money I earn in video games. Here's a better question. Why did the people who had kids before choose to make it feel impossible to have kids now? And how can they help fix that? The closest I'm going to get to having kids is rewatching the first season of Stranger Things. But who's going to take care of you when you're old? I don't know. Probably an AI android.
Yeah, I fucking hate that line. It's like it's a very selfish line, and I know I get it. It makes sense, but having kids just because you're scared, because nobody will be able to take care of you, nobody will be around to take care of you. Who's saying that I want to live above fucking 50? I'm joking. But it's probably a combination of multiple things. People being selfish, now there's pills, now there's condoms, and previously a lot more kids were actually accidents. A lot of my cousins were as well. Yeah, interesting to hear.
Gen Z and millennials don't want kids. So the birth rate, the fertility rate in the U.S. has been going down for years. It's now at a historic low. And what's really interesting when you get into the Pew research underneath it is the reason people are not having kids has changed. So put up this graphic here, and I'll talk you through it. People over the age of 50 who have not had children, they say, look, it just didn't happen. Basically, I wanted to, but it was bad luck. Young people today say, I'm not even out here trying.
Who the hell was asked for this? A lot of these kinds of statistics I see as very, very just fucking weird, okay? Because I have friends from the US. I showed them this. They didn't say they were fucking asked, okay? I know that they take a very small sample, but let's just take this, okay? I'd say from 18 to 30 or 35, most of them don't want to have kids. And this 57% would probably be much lower if it was from 30 to like 50.
I period, full stop, don't want children. That is a big shift. That is a big change. There's a bunch of reasons. A portion of them cite the cost.
The cost of childcare is bananas.
It's bananas.
300,000 in the U.S.
It's crazy. A portion of them cite worries about the state of the world, climate change, and then 20% say, I just don't like kids.
And these are all fair reasons. I don't know about not liking kids.
The state of the world and climate change, meaning they don't want to add to our population because of the pressures.
Or they're just worried that the quality of life is getting worse and worse.
I mean, it's probably a combination of a lot of those things. Like, I personally know. Like, maybe one day I'll wake up and I'll want to have kids. I know that not having kids is not, it's not a good idea, okay? You want the fertility rate to be at least at 2.1 or more. So, the population keeps at least being stagnant or growing, so the economy doesn't collapse. Because eventually, there's gonna be tons of old folk, a lot of young folk, and the old folk are not gonna be fucking working, and the old folk are gonna be dying from work and not being able to, like, sustain themselves. Which is already happening, on top of inflation and a lot of other different problems. And of course, world wars and fucking the COVID eras and shit. Yeah, no thanks, but I know I'm in the wrong. Maybe one day I'll actually want to have kids, and I'll stop thinking about how dark the world is.
We spent $53,400 on daycare tuition last year.
What?
I'm Jen, I'm a mom of two, and I also have a full-time corporate job, and my family uses daycare as their source of full-time childcare. And I try to be transparent on here in terms of how much it costs to be a dual-income family, especially from a childcare perspective. We just ended 2025, and I made the mistake of going into my parent portal and looking at our tuition summary for the year. We spent a total of $53,000.
What kind of daycare is this? A VIP daycare? Aren't there free daycares? Like school, it's like high school, elementary school. It's free, isn't daycare? There's no fucking way daycares are like, I'm gonna check after.
$132 on daycare tuition. And I have two kids. I have a 4-year-old daughter that's in the pre-K program and a 2-year-old son that's in the TWOS program. And we actually get a discount for having 2 kids enrolled in the daycare center. So our total is actually closer to $55,900.
Great!
We saved about $2,600 with that sibling discount. And I posted a couple weeks ago about how we already got the daycare tuition increase email for 2026, and our tuition is increasing about 5%. So that would put our total closer to $59,000 for 2026.
If you're this fucking stupid, if you're willing to spend this much money on your kids for daycare, Save that money for college, even though like 90% of colleges are fucking worthless. But at least save it for fucking college. God damn.
Luckily, our daughter is going to public school kindergarten in the fall, so there is a little bit of reprieve on the horizon. But the next time someone asks me if I'm going to have a third kid, I'm just going to start showing them these daycare bills.
So the average cost of daycare in the US is approximately $13,000 to $15,000 annually per child. Listen, man, if you don't already have, if you're willing to spend money for daycare, sure. 50K is a 60. She said 59K. That's fucking insane. That's a one man's fucking salary. Public kindergarten in the US is 1,000 to 4.5K annually. Okay, I don't know why I thought it was free, but yeah, 1,000 to 4.5K annually. Great, and save up those fucking $50,000 for something better. Invest them in gold or something. I don't fucking know. Fucking idiots, man.
Why do you think younger people are having less kids?
My parents had kids by the time they were my age, but like we would not be able to afford to have a child now.
Most people our age can barely afford to
This
live
is in the UK.
I guess people are busy, lead busy lives, have careers.
I mean, you gotta work 2 jobs to be able to fucking have a normal life, you know?
Cost of living crisis for sure.
Yep.
I'm still getting my life in order, so...
A lot of people don't want to bring kids into this world with like the current climate, like environments, like...
Illegal migration, UK, you know what I mean.
Things going on politically, like people don't want like to bring children into the world for them to grow up like that.
Having a child is a good thing. It makes you more of a man.
Wanting freedom. People feel like children are a burden.
Even though it is a financial burden, the love that it gives our family outweighs anything.
Knowing what it costs and the hours people have to work to keep a family is staggering.
I wouldn't suggest not having a baby due to finances, just make it work.
When I was younger, I learned so much about overpopulation, and I was really worried about that and thinking like, oh, maybe I'll do my part and not have kids.
Having children is not as easy as it used to be. You can't just take 3, 4, 5 years out.
I mean, if we're being honest, if we're thinking of just finances, a lot of people had a lot of kids all around history in bad living conditions. Okay, in the middle of wars, in the middle of famines, and this or that. There's so many poor countries that are still just... I mean, everybody sees this phenomenon of poor countries with limited educational and limited economic growth. There's much fucking more people having kids because there's just nothing else to do, I guess. I don't fucking know. Plus kids, which is the fucked up part, in poorer countries, kids become economically, beneficial at a very young age, as they used to be beforehand, like 100 years ago, maybe less. Your kid turns like 11 years old, something. He's profitable now. He can do child labor now, which is obviously everybody's against that now. Okay.
Kids are luxury.
We're renting, on a budget, and thinking about what it costs, at least in Australia, to have a child, especially in Sydney, and wanting to have the best for it.
It wasn't really...
Sydney is ranked somewhere in the top 10 most expensive cities to live in the world.
Hard decision in the end to say, you know what, I actually don't want that.
If there wasn't the worry of money, we would have definitely explored the option of having more children. But because, we have used our savings, there's the expense of daycare, our kids being at school, all the other expenses that comes along with that, we just now don't have that option.
Yep.
Australia is experiencing what some are calling a baby recession. KPMG analysis shows the estimated number of births in 2023 was the lowest since 2006. That's against the backdrop of a long-term decline in Australia's total fertility rate, which has been falling since the 70s, and more recently dropped from over 2 children per woman in 2008 to just 1.6 children.
Let's ask ChatGPT. So how much does it cost to raise a child in the UK? And I told them to keep it short because, these fucking AIs over fucking explain. The UK in British pounds, above 200,000. That's probably like 300 something or more thousand US dollars. 300 to 400 US dollars. Okay. In Australia, 300 to 500 Australian dollars. Thousands, right? Yeah. Fuck that. Plus you gotta rent and you're not able to buy a home on top of that. Yeah, there's a lot of other expenses on top of this. It's insane.
I love this Wall Street Journal article. It's called What Happens When a Whole Generation Never Grows Up. And it basically talks about how late millennials are kind of in this state of arrested development. And it talks about why that is, the economic factors driving it, but also what it means for our collective society when a group of people never reach those traditional markers of adulthood. A third of today's young adults will never marry. The average age of a homeowner has gone up, which means younger.
50. What's the divorce rate in the U.S.? Like 50%. So what if you get married? You've got a fucking 50% chance of being divorced.
People like in their 30s are not buying homes or buying their first home, and according to a survey by the Pew Research Center, the share of childless adults under 50 has risen from 37% to 47%. And part of this could just be people not choosing a traditional path. But when the scale is this big, it does kind of raise these questions about, are these goals just out of...
You want people to choose a traditional path, with it, as in like social, as in like family and kids, right? But they can't have the traditional path of having a job and a home. Yeah, fuck that, man. It's a fucking scam, okay? I'm getting pissed for no reason.
And if you ask a lot of these people, if you talk to economists, a lot of them give the explanation that they can't afford to grow up. You know, rising inflation, ballooning housing costs, it's very expensive to have a kid. And that's what's preventing them from reaching these milestones that a lot of them want.
I mean, and now we're expecting AI to get every single job out there. Plus, AI is now like spending millions of dollars on electricity. And guess who's paying for it? It's fucking great. It's amazing. We love it.
This used to be the College of New Rochelle, which survived the Spanish flu, 2 world wars, and the Great Depression. But it couldn't survive budget problems, tax bills, and steep drops in enrollment. And experts say nearly 400 colleges could suffer a similar fate in the next 10 years. The reason is simple.
I don't care.
There aren't enough students to fill classrooms. That's because people stopped having as many babies around the start of the financial crisis. 18 years later, that falling birth rate is showing up as empty desks. For colleges who rely on tuition to keep the lights on, missing even a handful of students can mean the difference between life or death. Already, more than 40 schools have shut down since 2020. Many of them cite falling enrollment as what led them to shut their doors. And it's only going to get harder to keep classrooms full, as the birth rate will likely continue to fall.
I mean, let's be realistic here. The birth rate won't just continue to fall until the world has 1 billion people, no. So we're in this stage in life, in the planet, right, in this century especially, where the birth rates are falling, mostly in Western countries, right? But the birth rates in more poorer countries is still rising, but even that percentage is like slowing down. Even eventually they will start going in the negatives, right? And humanity won't just stop existing, okay? Eventually that line will just stagnate and it'll be stable. Let's say now we're at like 8 billion people, right? Eventually 8.12 maybe. Eventually, we will reach maybe 10, maybe 11, 12 billion. Holy shit, when I'm saying this is so scary. But people are gonna, get old and die, not have kids, and it's gonna maybe stabilize at somewhere a bit lower. I don't fucking know. A few days ago, I saw a scary, fucked up statistic that from experts or whatever, that by 2070, the world might go up to 12 billion people, which is not enough for the planet to sustain that many people. In what areas? I don't know. With what resources? I don't know. Probably a lot of issues, You
literally can't make this stuff up. My newsfeed right here, it says U.S. birth rate hits new low, CDC data shows. And more top stories right below it, it says investors bought 1 out of every 4 affordable homes last year. It's like we pretend that this data is surprising and that the answer isn't right in front of our face.
BlackRock, all that stuff, right? Was that the name?
The real reason why nobody my age and nobody younger than me is going to have kids. The new houses that are being built are about in this price range right here.
This should not be anything above 250K. Even that's a lot. Maybe if it's in like California, Southern California, that's a lot. That's 250K. This should not be anything above that, okay? And even that's a lot. The average home price in the US is like $400,000. That should be In my brain, with the way I think, that shit looks run down, destroyed and all of that. Shouldn't be anything above 50K. Let's be honest. I just said 250K would be because it's more realistic.
And a large portion of the affordable ones are bought up by investors. At the same time that the dollar's been losing its value like crazy, this guy right here breaks it down pretty well. It might not be 100% accurate, but it gives you a good idea. It says right now the average rent is $2,000 when the average income is $50,000. Whereas in 1990, the average rent was $500 and the average income was $30,000. He says the rent has gone up 4 times and the income hasn't doubled. And he says that maybe millennials aren't broke because of avocado toast. And I hate to say it, but I'm sorry. It doesn't look like things are going to get any better. And it only seems like less and less young people will have kids. Huge news article around here advertising they built 46 affordable housing units over the summer. That's in a city, in a region of hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to like the US and Australia, there's a lot of suburban type of living, suburban type of culture, which is fine, but they're not building enough. I don't know if they're not building enough on purpose to keep, to keep the prices up, but the fact that the U.S. is building so many, like the U.S. Suburb car-centric city, you gotta spread out a lot. You gotta drive a lot and all of this stuff. If you build more, let's say 4-story buildings, not that tall, but tall enough, 4-story buildings. Go visit Amsterdam. See how it is. See how it looks. Even like kilometers, even miles from the city center, right? It's not bad. It looks fucking amazing. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments. There's probably a lot of problems, and this last guy actually explained it very fucking well. I know I'm in the wrong, and I know having kids is a good thing, and you should have kids if you want to have kids, and if you can take care of them. But I can't just say you're a bad person for not wanting to have kids because of all these reasons, because of illnesses, wars, and instability, and financial problems, and so on. I can't blame you. And a lot of people might tell you, people have risen and had kids in much uglier times. And to those people I say, why don't you live in poverty for like a year and, with your little kids, little children, and see how it is and prove all of us wrong. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments. Have a nice day.